Hi, my name is Ravi. Welcome to my channel Payment Talks. Welcome back. We have covered the PAIN.001 series completely, but we have few topics which needs more attention. One of those topics is payment type information. When a corporate treasurer sends a payment instruction to their bank, they are not just saying move this money from A to B. They are also communicating how to move it, urgently or normally, through a specific clearing rail for a specific business purpose under a specific payment scheme. In ISO 20022, all of that context lives in one place, the payment type information block. If you work in payments technology, testing, operations, or architecture, understanding payment type information is essential. It directly influences how banks process instructions, which clearing channels they select, and how payment engines derive routing decisions. Get it wrong, and the payment may be delayed, rejected, or routed through the wrong rail. This video covers payment type information end to end, where it sits in PAIN.001 and PACS.008, what each subfield means, how they flip from corporate initiation to interbank execution, and how this maps back to the older SvcLvl world. Firstly, what is payment type information? Payment type information is a structured block within ISO 20022 messages that carries qualitative attributes about a payment. It does not describe who is paying whom or how much. That is handled elsewhere. Instead, it describes the nature and the characteristics of the payment itself. Think of it as the payment's instruction label. It is the control panel of the payment processing. It answers questions like, is this urgent or normal priority? Should this go through a specific payment scheme like SEPA? What local instrument applies? What is the high level business purpose of this payment? Which clearing channel should process this? Interbank level only? These attributes are critical for downstream processing, both within the initiating bank's payment engine and across the correspondent banking chain. Where does payment type info live in PAIN.001 and PACS.008? PAIN.001 has two level structure, batch level payment information and transaction level credit transfer transaction information. Payment type info can appear at both levels, and this is intentional. When placed at payment info level, it acts as a default. It applies to all transactions grouped under that payment information block, that is, all batch payments. When placed at credit transfer transaction information level, it acts as a transaction level override. It applies only to that specific transaction. The rule is straightforward. If payment type information is present at both levels, the transaction level value takes precedence for that transaction. This is what I call as hierarchical rule of ISO. This design allows a corporate to group many transactions in one PAIN.001 as a batch with a common set of payment type attributes, while still being able to flag individual transactions that need different treatment. PACS.008 is an interbank message. It carries one credit transfer transaction per message instance in the CPPR plus or cross-border context. Payment type info sits at the credit transfer transaction level, that is, transaction level only, since there is no grouping or batch concept in PACS.008. Importantly, PACS.008 introduces one additional subfield, clearing channel, which is not present in PAIN.001. We will cover more on this later. Payment type info is a composite block made up of several distinct subfields. Each one carries a specific piece of instruction. Please note that all the subfields and this section itself are optional in both PAIN.001 and PACS.008. Let us walk through each one. First subfield is instruction priority. What it is? This field indicates the urgency or priority of the payment from the initiating party's perspective. The values that are allowed are only two values. One is high, used for urgent payments that needs to be processed as quickly as possible. The other one is norm, used for normal priority payments which have standard processing timelines. Why it matters? This field gives the receiving bank data agent in PAIN.001 case, a signal about how to prioritize the instruction in its processing queue. A high priority instruction may be flagged for same day processing or preferential queuing in the payment engine. Norm follows standard batch or cutoff processing. Important nuance. Instruction priority is guidance to the bank. It does not guarantee a specific settlement time on its own. The actual settlement timeline is determined in combination with the service level field and agreed cutoff times between the corporate and its bank. MT equivalent. There is no single direct MT equivalent. In MT101, urgency was sometimes communicated via field 23E instruction codes. Example, URGP for urgent payment. Though the same field is present in MT103, the code URGP is not supported. The next subfield is service level. What it is? This field identifies the service level or agreement under which the payment should be processed. It tells the bank which payment scheme or processing rules applies. Format is either a standard external ISO code or bilaterally agreed proprietary code will be used. Few commonly used codes for reference only from ISO external codes list are SEPA, where payment must be processed in accordance with SEPA scheme rules, or SDVA, which means same day value, where payment must be credited on the same business day, or NURG, meaning non-urgent payment and indicates that no special timing requirement for payment, or INST, meaning payment must be processed instantly. Why it matters? Service level is one of the most critical routing signals in a payment engine. If a payment carries SEPA as the service level, the engine knows it must comply with SEPA scheme rules, including format, data requirements, and cutoff times. If it carries SDVA, the bank knows it must prioritize same day crediting to the creditor. MT equivalent. There is no single direct MT equivalent. Partially maps to field 23E in MT103. For example, SDVA, same day value, was carried as a field 23E instruction code in MT103. The next subfield is local instrument. What it is? This field identifies the specific local payment instrument or product type used for the transaction. It is more granular than service level. If service level defines the scheme, local instrument defines the specific instrument or product within that scheme. Format is either a standard external ISO code or bilaterally agreed proprietary code will be used. Few examples are TRF means credit transfer, DDT means direct debit, core means SEPA direct debit core, and B2B means SEPA direct debit business to business. Why it matters? In domestic clearing environments, local instrument distinguishes between different payment trails. For example, a standard credit transfer versus an instant payment versus a check-based instrument. Payment engine use this field to determine which processing pipeline the payment enters. An important point is service level and local instrument work together. You might have service level is equal to SEPA and local instrument is equal to TRF or DDT. Or you might use local instrument alone without a service level when the instrument code is sufficiently self-describing like core. Using both together is common. MT equivalent. No direct MT equivalent. Some proprietary field 23E codes served a similar purpose in bilateral SWIFT arrangements, but local instrument is a concept largely native to ISO 20022 scheme-based payments. The next subfield is category purpose. What it is? This field identifies the high-level business category or purpose of the payment. It describes what the payment is for at a macro level, not the detailed remittance information which goes elsewhere, but a standardized category code. Format is either a standard external ISO code or bilaterally agreed proprietary code will be used. Commonly used codes are SALA, salary payment, SUPP, supplier payment, GOVT, government payment, PNS, pension payment, etc. Why it matters? Category purpose serves two audiences, the bank and the regulatory or compliance layer. Banks use it to apply specific processing rules. For example, salary payments may need to be processed even during system disruptions. Regulators and compliance systems use it for transaction monitoring, reporting, and sanction screening prioritization. It is also commonly used by corporate ERP systems to automatically populate and classify outgoing payments. MT equivalent. No direct MT equivalent. Usually, remittance information is used. The last subfield is clearing channel. What it is? This field specifies which clearing channel or settlement system should be used to settle the payment. This field exists only in PACS.008. It is not present in PAIN.001. Why the difference? In PAIN.001, the corporate instructs its bank, but the choice of clearing channel is the bank's responsibility, not the corporate's. Once the bank converts the PAIN.001 into a PACS.008 for interbank execution, it populates clearing channel to inform the next party in the chain which settlement rail applies. Only 4 values are allowed. They are RTGS, real-time gross settlement. Example, target 2 in Europe, CHAPS in UK, Fedwire in the USA. Then RTNS, real-time net settlement. Example, step 2, SEPA or other ACH systems. Next, MPNS, mixed payment net settlement. And last is book transfer. Internal transfer within the same bank, no external clearing needed. Why it matters? This is one of the most operationally significant fields in PACS.008. The clearing channel tells the receiving correspondent bank and the creditor agent exactly which rail this payment is riding on, which in turn drives liquidity management, settlement timing expectations, and reconciliation. For example, an RTGS payment settles individually and in real time. A RTNS payment is netted with others and settled at defined intervals. Getting this wrong in a payment engine can result in a payment waiting in the wrong queue or being rejected entirely. There is no MT equivalent, and this field is ISO 2002-0022 feature. Let us understand how payment type information flows from PAIN.001 to PACS.008. When a corporate sends a PAIN.001 to its bank, the debtor agent, the bank processes the instruction and generates one or more PACS.008 messages for interbank settlement. All the 4 fields present in PAIN.001 are carried forward as is. The debtor agent's payment engine is responsible for determining the current clearing channel value. It derives this from a combination of the service level, the currency, the correspondent banking arrangement, the payment amount, and local clearing rules. Let us understand using the practical examples. Scenario: ABC Manufacturing Limited, based in Germany, instruct Deutsche Bank, the debtor agent, to pay Euro 150,000 to Siemens AG, the creditor, held at Commerce Bank, the creditor agent. This is a supplier settlement. ABC wants same day value and the payment must be processed with high priority. The payment is a SEPA credit transfer. In the first step, ABC Manufacturing sends its payment instruction to Deutsche Bank. At this stage, ABC populates all 4 fields it controls: instruction priority, service level, local instrument, and category purpose. There is no clearing channel here. That is not ABC's decision to make. You can see the XML snippet here. Reading it out loud, this is a high priority instruction. Process it under SEPA scheme service rules. The instrument is time critical instant credit transfer. The business purpose is a supplier payment, SUPP. ABC has told Deutsche Bank everything it needs to know about the nature of this payment. Deutsche Bank now takes over. In the second step, Deutsche Bank validates the PAIN.001, applies its routing logic, and generates a PACS.008 to send to Commerce Bank through the interbank network. It carries all 4 fields forward and adds the 5th clearing channel. Deutsche Bank's payment engine evaluates the service level SEPA, the instrument instant, the amount euro 150,000 and the currency euro. It determines that for a SEPA high value euro time critical payment within the eurozone, target to an RTGS system is the correct clearing rail. It populates clearing channel accordingly. You can see the XML snippet here. Reading it out loud. This is a high priority interbank credit transfer. It is governed by SEPA rules. The instrument is a time critical instant payment. It must settle via real time gross settlement RTGS. The business category is supplier payment. Commerce banks receive this PACS.008, sees RTGS as the clearing channel, expects real-time gross settlement through target 2 and credits Siemens AG's account immediately. What is the real difference between service level, local instrument and clearing channel? I hope by this time you can answer this. But just in case, let's see real difference. This is one of the most common points of confusion in ISO 20022. The three fields sound similar. They all relate to how a payment is processed, but they operate at completely different layers, and confusing them leads to poor field mapping, incorrect routing and failed scheme compliance. Here is the cleanest way to think about it. Service level equals the agreement or scheme that governs the payment. Local instrument equals the specific payment product or instrument within that scheme. Clearing channel equals the technical rail on which settlement actually happens. Let us break each one down with examples and then look at how they interact. First, service level. Service level defines the processing agreement or scheme under which the payment must be handled. It is a commitment between the initiating party and the bank or between two banks about the rules that apply. Service level is about the promise and the rule book. It does not tell the bank which pipe to use. It tells the bank what the payment must achieve under what rules. Next, local instrument. Local instruments drills one level deeper. Within a given scheme or market, there are often multiple distinct payment products. Local instrument identifies exactly which product or instrument applies. Local instrument is also heavily used in domestic clearing contexts, where there is no overarching international scheme code, but the payment must be tagged with the correct domestic product type for the local clearing infrastructure. Next is clearing channel. Clearing channel is an entirely different concept. It does not describe the scheme. It does not describe the product. It describes the physical or logical infrastructure through which the payment will actually be settled between financial institutions. Two payments can have the same service level and the same instrument, but settle through completely different clearing channels, depending on their value, currency or bilateral arrangement. Clearing channel answers the question which pipe does the money actually flow through. And critically, this field only exists in PACS.008, not in PAIN.001. The corporate does not choose the clearing rail, the bank does. The relationship between the three is that they are not alternatives to each other. They are complementary layers, each describing a different dimension of the same payment. Let's see practical scenarios to make it click. First scenario is a low value SEPA salary payment. A Germany payroll company sends 500 salary payments to employees across Europe. Each is 2,500 euros. Service level is equal to SEPA. Must comply with SEPA scheme rules. Local instrument is equal to TRF. Specific product is SEPA credit transfer, not direct debit, not instant. Category purpose SvcLvl. These are salary payments. Clearing channel is equal to RTNS in PACS.008. At €2,500 each, these go through step 2, a deferred net settlement ACH system. No need for RTGS. They are batched, netted and settled at defined cutoff windows. Second scenario is a high value treasury payment, same day required. A UK corporate treasury sends £5 million to a counterparty bank as part of same day FX settlement. Service level is equal to SDVA. Same day value is mandatory. Local instrument may be absent or proprietary. This is not a SEPA payment. Category purpose equals TREA, treasury payment. Clearing channel is equal to RTGS in PACS.008. At £5 million, chaps, the UK RTGS system is the only appropriate rail. This payment settles gross and in real time. No netting, no batching. Third scenario is an internal book transfer. A corporate with accounts at the same bank, say HSBC UK, moves funds between two of its own accounts, both held at HSBC. Service level may be proprietary or absent. It is an internal movement. Local instrument may be proprietary or absent. It is an internal movement. Clearing channel is equal to book in PACS.008. No external clearing needed. HSBC simply moves the balance between two internal accounts. No target to, no chaps, no network fees. Please note, as this is a book payment, no PACS.008 is actually generated to be sent out at HSBC. Let us look at some common misconceptions. First, category purpose and purpose are the same thing. They are not. Category purpose is a high-level business category like salary, supplier, treasury, etc. Whereas purpose in credit transfer transaction information is a more specific transaction level code. Both can coexist in the same message, serving different audiences. Next, service level and local instrument are always used together. Not always. You can have one without the other. Service level is the scheme level signal. Local instrument is the instrument level signal. Many domestic payments use only local instrument. Many SEPA payments use both. Use what is relevant for the payment context. Next, clearing channel in PACS.008 is populated by the corporate. No, the corporate initiates in PAIN.001, which has no clearing channel. The debtor agent's payment engine determines the appropriate clearing channel and populates it in the outgoing PACS.008. The corporate has indirect influence via service level and instruction priority, but the clearing channel decision is always with the debtor agent bank. Next, instruction priority is equal to high guarantees same date settlement. It does not. Instruction priority is a processing signal, not a settlement guarantee. Same day settlement requires the combination of high priority, SDVA service level, compliance with cutoff times and the appropriate clearing channel. Miss any of this and the same day commitment may not be met. With this, we come to the end of this video. We have completed the PAIN.001 series. Next, we covered the topics of payment type info, payment identifiers. The last important topic of amount exchange rate sections in detail will be covered next. Before we move to the most important message of PACS.008, until then, keep smiling and keep learning. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, please like, subscribe and share for more such interesting topics on payments.